mindset that once anybody do me for happy show, I'm leaving. I'm not going to be this
But you didn't see your mother's name there.
House lounge. And somebody, I'm not gonna say who exactly because I don't know who exactly. Somebody saw that and pulled the man out the house.
Yeah, things nice. But then when formula have to buy, imagine me as a father. Why I have to babysit my child? Why I have to spend money on that child?
We don't understand the roles of a relationship. Relationship does have a role. And then when a man says stay in your lane, a woman says stay in your lane, we get offensive to each other.
Grown Folks Only Podcast.
Okay, guys and girls, I have a question for you today. The other day I was walking in town, no lie, no joke. This woman walking in for a little daughter. True story. Your father is a punk. Your father is a maji. And I then thinking, why do some women, some parents, weaponize their children against the person that they once loved? Open up with UK.
Okay, first of all, that's like a really good topic. I think that's something like should be talked on. I think what it is really is that we often don't remember that there's a bigger picture when you bring a child into this world, and oftentimes we do not know how to like separate what emotional distress or what problems we once had with our partner and focus on the main idea being the child. So we're so attached to what it was before that we don't use any form of emotional intelligence to say, well, this person and I were no longer together. That person may not have been a good partner to me, or we may have had troubles in our relationship, but that doesn't take away from that individual being a good parent to the child. We focus mainly on what we went through with said person or whichever way it goes.
Okay. So Carol, what do you think happened to all that love that was there when they was making the baby? All of a sudden, into your father is a punk, as if it's me that sleep with my father.
From many situations I've seen in life, it all still stems from emotional trauma. Now, you get women who were in love with a man. Maybe he wooed her, maybe he lied to her, maybe he played her, maybe he did different things. And whether she got pregnant trying to keep him, or she accidentally got pregnant, or whatever it is, and they've got the pain that she felt from the betrayal or hurt or whatever he has done. Sometimes the child reminds her of the man. Sometimes she's just, I wish I could hurt you the way you hurt me. And this is the way I could do it. Because some men and women might be bad partners, but they're good parents. You understand? And having that go through, they're like that. I know you're not going to love me, so I'm going to hurt you back. Or maybe let me keep you in the child's life just enough to see if I can get you back. And all of a sudden now, you have a new man, you have a new woman. That means I'm out of the picture completely. So it stems back to, I'm going to hurt you by keeping your child away from you, lying, going to family courts, all those things.
But what about the women, the parents, sorry, because it's not just women. What about the parents that moved on with their life, see that the other parent that is hosting the child 24/7, about to move on with their life, and now all of a sudden you have an issue with the child being with their significant or around their significant other.
It stems back
and that's totally unfair.
Hold on. We have a new panelist tonight. Let's hear what you're saying. You move on, you say?
I said if the one parent has moved on, right? And the child is with the other parent, that other parent is now about to move on or trying to move on with their life by having a new significant other. All of a sudden, the other parent is now making an issue about schedules to see with to spend time with the child, or not wanting the child around your new significant other, or just making it a living hell. Like they refuse to assist you in any way, shape, or form, and be like, oh, why you don't check your new man? Why you don't check your new girl to help you out? Why is me you coming to do?
Because my new man wasn't there when I was making the child.
It's not your new person's child. So like I don't understand why people behave that way, but it's
No.
totally
There's a level of bitterness involved because especially, and I'm speaking from experience, you know, sometimes the woman could go a little extra mile to to get under the guy's skin, and that just makes it difficult for the child to even spend time with their parents, usually their father, if we're being real.
So imagine you being a child and you love your mother so much, and then your mother, you feeling the resentment from your mother against your father. How do you think that will make a child feel growing up?
It damages the child. That's traumatic.
It breeds and nourishes many adult trauma responses that we go through. You know, you have
Hold on. He's a big one there. What's a trauma response?
a trauma response. I would say would be something like men who grow up being very promiscuous or having a dislike or misogynistic tend to have had a very difficult relationship with their mothers. Young ladies who grow up who have a unwarranted masculine sense in life, professional, occupation driven, controlling, may have had a absence of that kind of figure in their life, or having multiple male figures come in and out of their life where their mother was consistent. So I would say a trauma response has something to do with things that you go through as a child that you're not
impacts you.
emotionally developed as yet. So you imagine, that's kind of like taking a car that you want to modify from 200 horsepower to 1,000 horsepower, and you just put the turbo on without gradually upgrading the car.
Okay, so you're saying the rest of the parts not developed, but
Exactly.
that reminds me of a saying, the child is the father of the man. And we born looking like our parents, but we die looking like our choices. So at what point is the parent responsible and the children responsible? Because I see a lot of parents talking about how my father used to do this and my mother used to do that. And then you see them falling in that same groove and not even realizing it. So you said from your experience, you've seen it being weaponized before, the parents against you. I have my personal experiences too. I have a child, and the child has a mother, and I recognize at one point, I cannot love the child and hate the mother. And I cannot hate the mother and like myself, because at some point that was a person I felt comfortable with. So how it turned, all that love just swing into that direction. Let me hear some lovely female perspectives.
I think it really depends on what's happened in the relationship, especially if infidelity is involved or some other kind of dark trauma that really affects the relationship going forward, especially if a child is involved. In my case, that was the case for my mom. So it took, of course, my mom she just didn't want anything to do with my dad. But of course, I was very young at the time, so she kind of had to tolerate him. So, you know, and especially as I got older.
So question, as a child, you used to see that? Like, you used to feel the toleration?
I think when I was a child, I really wanted that image of mom and dad together. But as I got older, I was like, yeah, they're like fire and ice. They're just not meshing. So, and even for me, as I kind of grew up and figured out, okay, this is what my dad did, how we messed up, I really had to kind of say, you know what, I don't want that to affect my relationship with my dad. Because, you know, he's getting older, I'm getting older.
And what did you realize that, bro?
Late teens.
Okay, so you definitely growing to make your own decisions then.
Yeah. There was a point where I resented him for the decisions that he made. but it already happened, so could just forgive him and move on from that.
I have a random question.
A random question.
At the back, point of production. We're speaking about the effects of parents having bad relationships and affecting children, right, in general.
Yes, yes.
That's the concept. You said something a while ago that your parents are like fire and ice, like they're not going together. Have we sat down and processed that what may have brought them together would have been their attraction on different levels, whether not physical or something in terms of the personality. And by the addition of that child, it changes the relationship, because now, for example, a mother might be more in tune with what the child requires, and then now puts the father in the background, or vice versa, whatever the situation. So the dynamic of a third person, right? We have to take that into consideration. How that dynamic of that third person, that both of you supposed to love, both of you supposed to nurture, right? Changes the relationship. Because remember, on the women's side, there is this medical excuse that you use.
Postpartum depression.
Depression. So all those things.
There's a difference between. There is a difference.
It's not an excuse.
It's a valid excuse.
It's a
Hold on.
valid feeling.
There is a difference between.
All right, the man
No, hold on, but there is a difference.
to finish his point.
I know that's not your point. I'm just saying that it's not an excuse.
But there is a difference between postpartum depression and postpartum blues. It's two separate things.
But that sounds like the same thing.
It's
I mean.
not. There is a difference between postpartum depression and postpartum blues.
Okay, so
So break it down for us.
before we
Yeah,
get
I've
back
never
to
heard
breaking down for us, right? Let me ask this question. How long does postpartum last?
You cannot determine how long
Magic
postpartum
some water.
lasts. It really is the person. Yeah, it's the individual, it's the person. And there is a difference.
It's
Let
the
me
person,
just-
which person? The other parent or you as a woman?
Well, I
Or
as
the
a
other
woman
little person that you're bringing
who
up.
brought the baby to full term and have had this baby, I'm now going through or postpartum blues or postpartum depression. I mean, there are some women who don't experience it because they're probably mentally strong or prepared for whatever situation
I
that
have
you're
a strong
So let's just say,
system.
let's
That
just say
as
the
well.
disposition from
But
the
I just
start,
want to
yeah.
explain like the difference between the two, because in order for us to touch on it, you need to understand what it is. If as a woman, I suffer with postpartum blues, it means it's just difficult for me to wake up in the morning. I'm often feeling sad, or today I'm just heavily emotional. But if I'm dealing with depression, it means I want no involvement with this child. It is hard for me to nurture this child. It is hard for me to even get up and look at this child because I am depressed. I don't want to. I'm
Not that you don't want to
timid.
be a
Yeah,
mother,
it's
just that
just
you can't.
difficult.
I
You
think the
just
only
wake up
difference,
and you cannot do it.
the only difference between the two is just the time frame, because depression is a
Something
lack of
wrong.
motivation to perform basic life functions over a long period of time.
Right.
That's the difference between weather and climate. So blues is one day you get up, you're feeling like it, but the next day you're all right.
But people go through blues.
In
because-
stages.
Yeah.
So it's like
There are
it's
people
on
who
and
go through
off.
blues
It's
and
not
they
like a
never
constant
reach
thing.
the stage of depression.
My point,
They
my
never
point
get
in
there.
general, right? In saying about the postpartum bits, whether it is blues or depression, is when you go through that experience and you're not aware, which is the normal case. Most women don't know what they actually going through. Right?
They just know they don't
They just know
feel.
they're not feeling
don't
up
feel
to
it.
it. So
Right.
that whether or not it's with the child
I like that.
or with the partner. When you go through your scenario and the man in that scenario is going through it too, whether or not it's happening to him, whatever changes that happen to you also affects him, right? So it changes the dynamic of the relationship, right? So the resentment, like for example, she was mentioning about fire and ice. The fire and ice is not something that just happened overnight.
No.
Fire and ice is
Gradual.
a situation that festered, that was never addressed.
Yeah.
Because I personally believe that if you're in a relationship and both persons are desirous of that relationship working on, no matter the dynamic,
It will
It will work.
It's a
Yeah.
fact.
That's what I was going to tell you.
It's a fact.
Because there's this scenario that people go through when they meet each other. They put on that best mask. I want to attract this man, this woman.
Oh, that's called the honeymoon phase.
Whatever. Right. You go through it, and then some people are mature, experienced enough to understand there's going to be a transition. You're going to start to see other parts of this person that, because the more comfortable they get to feel, the more they're going to just relax around and do what they have to do. But then sometimes the child has come in before that phase has ended or transitioned to that phase. Some people can go through it with the child and meet to that equilibrium. Other people, it just doesn't work.
Now that's a real good point to reason, because I would say if you said a woman going through it and she don't know what's going on, it would be really nice if the man have a little experience and he understand that, you know, you shouldn't take that personal. She's going through this thing, and I've seen this in my line of work where I know for a fact, if you can survive the first 2 years of the child life as a couple, that's the most stressful period, you all would last longer. But a lot of couples break up in the first 2 years of life, because that's when you get to see how the person deals with situations, how the person deals with responsibility, how the person deals with finances. Oh, and we partying and we drinking and we throwing bottles and things like that. But then when formula have to buy, imagine me as a father, why I have to babysit my child? Why I have to spend money on that child? Why I have to do this? If you don't sleep with me, I'm not buying that for the child, as if it's somebody else's child that day. What kind of thing is that? And then you as the woman, imagine the woman blaming the man. You see, you man and shit. So who that choose the man? Who that choose the man? Who that choose the woman? You need to take a little more. You need to take a responsibility for yourself.
In the last podcast we mentioned, I was telling, I think Femi was making a point that I said, it takes, you said it, 2 hands to clap.
Yeah, but you
And
can't do
each
that.
one chooses the other.
Or else you're doing that.
It's sometimes men have this thing, they don't like on them because, as they say, you know, with heart is better, whatever it is. But if you're responsible,
Is it really?
Yes, it is. I mean, we all grow
It
to
is?
say that. But as a woman, if you know you don't trust this guy, and you're not taking any preventatives for birth control, I see nothing wrong with a woman walking around.
Bro, you never see a woman when that thing inside of them. Oh, you know, the stars had come out. Why you do that? How is that? You are not. I ovulating? Don't listen to me then, listen to me now. You can't tell me that. It's your fault.
Is that post, not clarity?
That's post, not clarity.
Post, not
That is the word.
clarity.
That is the word right there. That is post, not clarity. Both for
And
the man and the
also the
woman.
post-nut clarity should help you to see that you should have prepared before, because you knew you were ovulating. You knew you were going to do what you were going to do.
What you know? What you know?
In fairness,
What
women
you
don't
do?
straight when they ovulate.
You already know what you
Listen,
want to do
let me tell
before
you.
you reach there.
I've
Don't
seen,
come with that bullshit.
I've seen highly
Women just
educated
know
men.
they want it before they
Women
reach there,
don't think
especially
straight.
when they ovulated.
They don't think straight.
No.
So then men always ovulating then because he never thinking straight. Or we thinking straight like
When
that.
a woman is
Thank you.
ovulating, the part of her brain that is primal, that looking for a mate, is what takes over.
So you're saying her crocodilian brain just take over? I want
This guy,
smashing.
this guy has a good, he can be a good mate. And she doesn't even realize that her primal brain is like, what? Go.
She really don't realize that? She don't realize that she just wants some dick.
realize it. Don't get twisted. Some of them just realize.
They rationalize maybe one child won't do it. And as you say,
Not
as soon as
at any moment,
that
not-
clarity comes-
We rationalize or you don't rationalize maybe
Because
one child.
Real talk.
But
That never
the same
crossed
way-
my
listen,
mind, right?
I-
So
Women
you
or the
never,
men?
so you never watch a man and say, boy,
The
me could
women
just
or the
throw
men?
that in me right now. Yeah,
Okay.
throw that in me.
No, it
Never?
depends on the relationship.
Because
It's
you're
just a
not
different
alone.
It
response.
depends on the relationship.
You have to drink in you, and you never think they could just throw that in me and say that out loud. and
Nah,
you realize
fam.
it.
Nah.
I find it hard to believe.
Nah.
You don't have to believe? Why?
Hard to believe that
Okay.
you've never had enough drinks to say fuck it Let's see
Bring
what
me
happens.
down.
Risky ball.
Yeah, risky ball.
Risky ball. Boy, well,
I
I
knew
must
what
be
I
living
was
in a different
about
world.
to check it, so no.
Well,
I must be living in a different
give him
world.
that.
Wow.
So you never reach that
Give him
person.
that.
So you never reach that
That's
person
the
make you
party
just
dropper.
forget about your savings plan. Forget about your forget you was in school getting that day. I say, boy, maybe just wine back a little more and forget about the seafood. You guys ain't pineapple or anything. You never been that person? Your eyes say a lot, you know.
He hoping she would say, please, don't hit me. And she hoping make bailout game good. And they both rely on each other. And
Boy, you mad, they give you 2 slaps in your head. You don't be out there. Don't mind what I say, man.
I think it's different situations.
Different
It depends on the
situation.
It
partner.
all depends on the person.
Okay, so I don't want to like, woo.
no.
It hot.
I don't want to
It
like.
hot.
Drop the sauce.
Yeah,
Drop the sauce.
no. I mean, you understand? I'm just
I
saying.
understand.
No, I really think it depends on the two people, the couple,
Let me drink some more.
the nature of the relationship, and because I can speak for myself, given that I have a child. I feel like I can touch on that. I
have
can
one of
say,
those too.
yeah, I can literally say
I have a growing man.
what happened in my situation. My son, I of course obviously my partner and I were together for a little while, and we did speak about having
What's the definition
children.
of a little while?
About two
That's
years.
a good point.
That's a
2 years.
short period of time.
No, that is a perfect period of time. That's a perfect period.
That's
2 years
your
is a good
opinion.
time. If
That's
you cannot
fine.
tell you like somebody to make a child of them in 6 months, then you're bullshitting yourself.
But during that
6
period,
months. You need more than 6 months. You're a good man. You need more than 6 months to figure out if you like somebody.
But during that period, I mean, obviously we did go through our little, obstacles and stuff. So based on the topic, I feel like I can speak from a personal experience as an adult with a child, and because I co-parent with my partner, and I can also speak from my parents' perspective. They were once married as well. They planned to have me. I'm here, and they separated. So I can speak on that specific topic from two aspects, two angles, experiencing it as a child growing up and experiencing it as an adult, saying I don't want to repeat that cycle, I want to do it differently.
So how do you not step in
Make a
number
good
deeper?
point there though, because not a lot of people think about it as a cycle and repeating the cycle.
It's true, it is.
And that's the main thing. Like,
Actually, a lot of people start off saying, I don't want to be like my father, I don't
but
want to be
then
like
they
my
behave
mother.
exactly
It just
like
ends up
them.
like
They
that.
don't make
Because-
choices to change the cycle.
Because the road to
They
hell,
made choices
Right.
to
because
break
the road to
that
hell,
cycle.
the road to hell is paved in good intentions.
Sometimes.
All the time. All the time.
There's another aspect a lot of people don't realize. The way your brain is wired, whatever that you go through in life, your brain forms a neuron path and thoughts and synapses. So you become, because human beings are monotonous and lazy by nature. We like the easiest path and the easiest way to do what we
Boy, I forget watch my
Repetition.
status the other day.
Huh?
I forget so out of my status.
But repetition is part of the ease of life for human beings. So when you're young, whatever your parental relationship that you went through, when you get older, for your brain, this seems normal. So a lot of people tend not to even realize or try to, and your brain goes into this fight or flight mode because as far as it's concerned, we're going against the norm. And I don't like this. I need to learn something new, and I rather go back to where we went to, and we can self-sabotage our transition into a new frequency.
Yeah, we say a lot of things there. Self-sabotage, frequency. What's all that? What's all that?
Frequency.
I feel like
what you talking
basically
about?
what he's trying to say is that we go through things or traumas or situations, rather, or whatever word you would like to use to call whatever you went through.
Keep it real simple.
Yeah.
I'm not too bright.
But I'm going to try. Yeah? Okay. So, but there comes a period where you have to self-evaluate and be like, hey, this is something that I've noticed that this is a pattern or something that runs within my family or within myself, and I'm assessing to say I want to make an effort to do it differently. And a lot of people cannot do that. That's what we call, I don't know if that's too big for you, but emotional intelligence.
Okay.
Where you
Alright, let me step in for a second there again. So speaking of
Behind the
emotional,
camera,
The guy behind the camera.
Okay.
The guy behind the camera is speaking. Is that you,
Speaking of
Jesus?
emotional intelligence, speaking of person's ability for them to be able to
Self-assess.
self-assess. In the context of people having children.
Yes.
And having to go and do the regular
Yes.
for whatever it is. Or sometimes if you're a single parent, just because of the way the relationship eroded, right? You don't have the time or the privilege. I'm not making an excuse of you, but that's the reality of people. That's the reality.
You don't have the time for what?
They don't have the
I wonder
time
you
for them
do.
to be able to sit down and process and do that emotional self-assessment
Self-growth and
to see whether or not, okay, well, I need to change this about myself. You know what sometimes happens? Some event, some activity, something has to trigger it. And then, and only then, you will pause. You know what? Or, like you leave the man, because you know, oh, wait, maybe not good for me, blah, 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 and you go to a man that start beating you. Right? But then now, in your mind, you know what? I was better off where I was. Or maybe you were not better off, but maybe it might just be that thing that clicks and makes you, you know what?
For sure.
Let me evaluate.
But it's very difficult for one to be self-aware. It takes somebody who is very connected within themselves, a good man too, within themselves, him or herself,
I like how you put
that can say something is wrong and
That is correct.
I am wrong and I need to fix it. So I just think a lot of people, we make excuses for not making time for ourselves.
Especially when you have a
But-
girlfriend who just.
Yeah, but there are people who know how to be selfless and be
Not
selfish
a man
of
having a girlfriend, a
themselves.
woman having a girlfriend.
That's the
Yeah. When they need to do it, they know how to be
That
selfish.
conversation when we did the first filming for the teasers is that women have a better support group. So you find women being able to
Do they really?
correct
Yeah, we
to
do.
correct themselves quicker and better than men. And a lot of men self-soothe by promiscuity, drinking, smoking, vices, racing cars, whatever it is to numb what is going through. And like you say, it takes
A strong individual.
emotionally
Intelligent
person to realize I am not happy. Because as soon as that distraction is done, I'm back to zero. I need to figure this out. I need to go to a therapist. I need to talk to my buddy. I need to find some way to correct this. Now, the sad thing too is sometimes the men that do it, because their relationship, or even the women, their relationship with the other parent has gone so traumatic and chaotic that they fail to see the new person because they see you as your past.
Right.
Now that is what you call a trauma response right there. The person you're fighting is not even the person in front of you. The person you're fighting is some aberration, the first love of your life. The first person you fall in love with is an idea in your head. It's not the person in front of you. I've seen people fight and you realize not even you they're talking to, is something they're dealing with inside their past. And it takes a lot to even recognize that, because the knife cannot cut itself, the fire cannot burn itself, the finger cannot touch itself. It needs to interact with something in the world. So sometimes you just touch a person button like a dog when you give the dog a treat. I don't call anybody a dog. I don't call a woman a dog. I call a woman a dog. But you give the dog a treat, the dog recognizes that when it does this thing, it gets this.
A positive reinforcement.
Positive reinforcement, but they also have negative reinforcement. So sometimes the person don't even understand. But if you just do this, say this word, say this phrase, it will throw them back into some battle
Trigger
they
something.
never dealt with. They never
Triggers.
turn that ship to the wave and just flush it out. They tuck the head in a little hole and say, no. Yeah, the mother was beating the father was abusing the mother, they in the room crying and they're like that. And they know how to deal with it. They never figure out how to deal with it. They never look back at it. They think they threw it out away, but they remember it. And they don't remember it in their memory, but they remember it in their behavior and how they react to situations. How you feel about that?
Even with that, what role does our subconscious have to play in scenarios in life?
That is the sub-programming. That is the BIOS. That's what you call the BIOS in the computer. Is a program that governs the program. Is the foundation of everything we do. Is the child that is the father of the man.
Yeah. So for me, if I have to define operating in the subconscious, I would equate it to putting a kind of cruise control or
Yes.
having a vehicle that's running or pilot on autopilot. That's what I consider to be
Autopilot, yeah.
That's what it is. Now, for example, you'll find a scenario where you know you use the example a while ago of an abusive home. Right? One child in that scenario might respond to that abusive home by being better than the version of the person that was carrying out the abuse. Another child in that same scenario will be just as bad or even worse than the person that's conducting the abuse.
Right.
What factors in those two characters in that same house having two different outcomes? Is that something that's more of a subconscious level or something that was consciously triggered?
How we read so far now, let me ask you, as a woman, is it true that some women don't feel loved until the man knock them?
You have some women who suffer from battered woman syndrome.
What's battered
And
woman syndrome?
That is a woman who believes that they must be beaten to feel as if they're loved.
What are you talking about? We're making love and we're giving you 2 slaps, or you're shouting at me and
No, we're talking about
we fighting?
I'm going to push your head near death kind of experience, battered woman syndrome.
What?
So there are some people who and that again could be a childhood trauma. They experience it with they themselves experiencing abuse as a child or watching a family member be abused.
So there's also the case where a lot of women tend to find themselves in that victim role over and over again. And usually it takes more than one time for them to realize, like, okay, this is a pattern, then I need to try and break free. So that's the issue, especially with domestic abuse, where women are concerned.
And that's why oftentimes too, you could break up a domestic abuse several times, and most times
they will find themselves back to
and
each
that
other.
is why. It is
So
because
how are you
it's scary. It is scary. Like, oh my God, I'm going to die, but I need to go back to him because he's the only person that can show me the love.
So I don't know something. We range from parents' resentments against each other to parents not loving their own self.
But because of broad
It's a broad, yeah.
Yeah.
You think on the onion?
But I can bring you. I wanna. If you would allow me, guys, to just rope us back into the topic.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Well, I'm helping you. I think communication. We overlook that word, that thing called communication, and I'm speaking for myself in my co-parenting situation. My son's dad and I don't believe in the word baby daddy or
So
child father.
what's the word you're using?
My son's dad.
That's once removed.
Yeah. But I think it's respectful.
It's more respectful.
Yeah, I prefer that,
In solution
and I
or
will
in the
use
career?
it.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so we're gonna use it. My son's dad.
Respect that.
Yeah. My son's dad and we did not have the ideal relationship. I grew up in a 2-parent household. I was raised by my stepfather. My father was away. So I never thought I would be part of the statistics to say that I would be raising my son separate from his father, right? Now, we spoke a lot on during the relationship, when a woman is pregnant, they stay, and then at some point they separate. But we never spoke on when you separate before that child is even here, right? And I felt like I had to make a decision and say, for the betterment of this child, I am going to break away from this relationship, and you and I are going to try to have an effective co-parenting relationship. And to do so, I had to have conversations prior to my son's arrival. I had to say, listen, how are we going to do this?
Yeah.
What is going to happen? Let's set some ground rules. Let's do this. Let's do that. And my son's dad, may not have been the best partner to me, but I do not doubt that he's a wonderful father to my son. And I'm holding on to that faith that my son's dad is going to be great to my son, that it doesn't allow me to filter into my own trauma in the relationship to prevent him. So I'm not weaponizing my son against his dad, because I was able to come to that understanding that this is what we're going to do.
Okay,
So I'm
so-
not harboring any hatred towards him because me and him didn't work out, or me and him don't have a full-term relationship, white picket fence, ring on the finger kind of thing. You understand? And I think a lot of people don't get. I'm fortunate that I had some form of emotional intelligence to even foster that type of
I was just
communication.
about to say that.
But a lot of
takes-
people are unable to do so. Here is why we're having this topic today. Because you hurt me, and I need you to feel how this hurt made me feel, because you did not get it during our relationship. And I know that love for that child, me taking that from you, is going to hurt you how you hurt
So you want to catch yourself a fire to make the fella
To burn the whole world down to make
It's
sure.
vice.
to make the fella feel hot.
It's vice versa. It is vice
It's vice
versa.
versa too.
It's vice versa.
It's not
There,
just
there,
men.
yeah, there are
Yeah,
men.
men
Yeah, all of them
Now,
like that
in
too.
my
Yeah,
line
all
of
them
work
like
as
that too.
well, I deal with a lot of things. I mean, like that, domestic, you know, parents, family court, all these kind of things.
But you know some people love that kind of thing. They love to complain about the child father. They love to complain about the child
Yeah,
mother.
because it gives them joy to say
Yeah.
that this man or this woman is horrible.
And that's the reason for every single thing
Yeah,
that
it's
wrong
true
in
or
their
not.
life.
Yeah. Yeah, because you may experience it with your friends. Like, you know, I've been in a situation where I know both the mother and the father, and I can say that this man is this way and this woman is this way. And then the woman turns, I'm saying no one because it's in that specific situation, turned around, and everybody she got a chance to whisper to made this man look horrible. And I'm saying, but he's not horrible.
There's a saying that the person that runs to talk about the relationship that they left is normally the person that was at fault.
Or the person that's most hurt.
No, there are people I know that have been hurt and they're just like, okay, let me settle myself, refocus, and move on. Because they can be hurt, but they're not wrong.
And then
And
what's the
actually
point
tell
of
them,
being
no.
hurt and trying to relive the hurt by retelling the stories to 50 different persons along the line?
You
Because-
can't deal with the stress. But what is it?
I don't think it's just not being able to deal with the stress. It's just like, if I allow myself to be hurt by many people, more people will hate you the way I feel. Like I hate you, so I need more people to hate
just
you.
basically trying to get somebody on
Yeah, they just trying
It's
to.
also like a form of therapy, because I feel like the more the person you vent to, especially in a woman's case, the more person we vent to, we want to get whoever on our side.
What if it's done
You know,
vindictively?
she said I like that, you know, but you know I don't get. Imagine I on my phone. Hey boy, let me see. I'm tired. Let me see what's going. Hey, mate, is a shit. I don't want to deliver mate. Instead you deliver the person, you're there posting on social media, all kind of things I'm not making sense, but it's a person you want to talk to. What kind of sense you as a big person? You're posting on your phone about how this person this and how this person that. How does that deal with the problem
You see,
you have with the person?
There's
Exactly.
a good point. A lot of people don't realize well, not just this scenario, but everything. The brain does not know the difference between what you're making it think and reality. So to your 2 points that you made is that it's therapy, that's what they think. But every time you have to vent, you have to pull up those files, those
counterproductive,
emotions,
yeah.
and relive
Relive it again.
Your body is physically
Going through the same situation.
thing. So it's not therapy, it's actually
You're making
detrimental
it worse.
because you go down a rabbit hole of giving your body that trauma therapy that you keep going through, and your body tends to get used to it. And like, okay, you know what? It's been a day or two. I miss this feeling. You know, I need to vent to someone else. I need to go on social media. I need to go on WhatsApp. I need to, like you said, say something and press a button to get a response from him or her, so we can now start the battle.
And then they have some sim fella in the background. Oh, why may do you that, guys? Oh, don't make me a shit. Yeah.
Because it's one of the things I know really
Up on
good
Kevin
guys
Samuels complaining.
sent divinely to
So
heal you or just want to go home.
But there are really miserable people in this world.
Yeah, some serious misery.
Yeah, like they just have, no matter how much you try, no matter what you do, what about the people who go on social media and they post and you think, oh, that's just a phase, and then years later,
Same
they're
story.
still reliving the same thing, and then you start to realize maybe that person was just really miserable within themselves to begin with. Then you go and get that person pregnant, that person now have your child, so now that person have more reason to be
Now, yeah,
miserable.
sometimes that baby they make is the president of the United States.
You know, and then they're more miserable.
Listen, I know we have all said it and looked at a man or woman and say either the woman's like, mate, you get pregnant for? Or that's the thing you get pregnant? We've all had friends of people we know or sitting ours and looked at, and we tend to wonder why. What about
Because fire and ice go together. You ever see two sticks?
But sometimes the sex not even good. Let's talk about that.
What? No.
Yeah.
Objection.
Let's talk about that.
Objection.
That's a fact.
Objection.
on the woman's side.
That is a fact.
That's only on the woman's side.
No.
Objection.
No,
No.
For a man with sex is
Not good.
That is a lie.
Very true.
That's not true.
They may cheat, but they will not necessarily leave.
Yes, now paper or a benefit to that woman
Yeah.
for the stay. A
So-
man will stay for bad sex because that might be his 3 a.m. phone call.
To me, the narrative is the narrative is
Necessarily.
You're not making that guy feel good here.
Sex is a major part of a relationship.
yeah, major.
You know?
If that
Yeah,
whack,
so-
if that whack, it's not
Some women don't know.
So that. You ever hear a woman leaving a man because he
Let's
cheated?
talk about that.
Yeah.
No, what it does be is after I made this and that, he cheating on me again.
After me
I
that no
gone.
pennies, me cheating on me again.
I gone. But you see,
Everybody have to know you have no pennies.
Here's the problem to that statement. The man now is, but you stay with him, which means there's a reason you're staying with him. You feel the money, no, you're enjoying him. You feel the man didn't.
He don't know that.
How you know that?
He don't know that.
How you know that?
When I say, oh my God, baby, you're so sweet, how you know that?
you don't know well. You don't know well. You don't know well. You know
So you're
well.
faking it.
That's not the point. The point is,
She faking it then. She faking it.
the point is, I'm not an emotionally mean person.
Disclaimer: the views expressed
Okay.
is not necessarily the opinions of the
Production.
people, production team, and the people.
Disclaimer. Yeah. Right. Oh my God, I forget my point.
you were saying you was making noise and
Sure.
If you really love me, will you fake an orgasm?
If I really love you,
I can do that.
would I fake an orgasm?
Yes, that's a yes. The way she asked you that.
No.
She has to make sure. She has to make sure.
No, but he don't allow me to that.
but the man behind the camera, why would she fake an orgasm if she love you? Why would she have to fake an orgasm if she love you?
Because she love you.
Well, she's supposed to feel it throughout her whole body. Her demon's supposed to align. She's supposed to say she wants to go to the market and say no, she's saying
It was a little
Let me tell you.
That one for the next.
Yeah.
you know, let me tell you, you know what's love to me? You lie down in the bed and you say, you know, I hate you. It's okay, lie down. You see you, I have to go and do this and do that. But you stay there. What you doing
very
there?
toxic. Very toxic.
Is that really toxic? Is that really toxic?
I've seen relationships like that when you think they're toxic
And they working well,
happily married.
working well.
It works well. They have that fire between them and they'll tell each other what they want to tell each other, but at the same time, they still take care of each other. Now, you might be surprised that the
Old man-
honesty
old man relationship.
is what keeps them working because you're not left guessing for anything.
Yeah.
Is she happy? Is he happy? Is that you see? Fuck you, Gasa. You talk some shit. I said, babe, I didn't cook, Gasa. I tell you that I want to cook, Gasa. Well, that's what I want to eat. Whatever. But yet, you all kiss each other good night. You will make sure everybody's good in the
And
morning.
you're going to bed vex.
You're only going to bed next.
You're
You'll say
adults.
what you have to
I
say.
agree.
And
I think that's the relationships that where people just say this is my pick, this is my fish, and I'm just.
But to me, that's what it's supposed to
This is
be.
where
That's what it's supposed to be. That is the difference in relationship.
We chose each other.
Let me tell you, everybody.
We're not even talking about. I'm not justifying it.
Everybody,
And she started it.
everybody have the flaws. Everybody have the flaws in the honeymoon phase. You're not seeing the flaws, but you're supposed to reach a point where you recognize, boy, that
Yeah,
person
that
may be a
person
little
is my
late.
right
That person, but you know what? I like this about that person, and I have to stick with that person.
I think I cannot speak for every woman in general, but I think I was lied to. I grew up in a Christian household.
Who lied to you?
I'm coming to it. She's coming to you.
You lied to
Coming to
yourself.
you. Hear me out. I grew up in a Christian household with a father and a mother. He may not be my biological father, but I grew up with.
Is that what makes it a Christian household?
Calm down. No. Is I
said
mean
that
I don't feel like I need to go into detail on how
No, you
Christian
don't.
household
Just be an
exactly.
extra.
They married.
But
Your
I'm just
parents
I want to
married,
get
yeah.
to
Your
the
parents married.
point.
My parents married too.
And my mom
To my
thought
father and I.
we have like three girls. I'm the eldest of three. My mom was like, don't take any puppy. That's where I felt like I was like to. Don't take any puppy show from no man. Once anything happened to you, leave. And I
She didn't
grew
think I was
up,
puppy show from your father.
and I grew up with the mindset that once anybody do me puppy show, I'm leaving. I'm not going to be this
But you
right.
didn't see your mother
Hold
saying
on.
that.
So the question
I'm
is,
not-
what about when you do Bobby show?
Gets into the
Let me, but y'all have to like.
I want to know. What about when you do Bobby show?
Let me
Continue.
finish.
Let me get through.
Yo, let me talk about
Right. So, first of all, I'm taking that as a subtle jab, okay?
It's not
Right?
you.
Second of all, let me finish my point, and I'm coming for you. Okay?
We may not have to come for the mother, sis.
So yeah, so I grew up. I was sheltered. I was sheltered. So I was not privy to the problems that my parents were going through because I didn't see it. So I just was like, my father not doing no puppy show, so my mother is here.
But
So
why
I
your
grew
mother
up-
telling your father not to make no man take you for puppy show?
But let me finish. It's just when you grow up in that type of household, that's just normally how it is.
That's normal conversation. That's the communication.
So I grew up thinking that you don't take puppy show from nobody, right? And as I'm older, I'm like, but something is wrong with that picture because the relationships that last several years, 20-something plus years, are the women. It's not because there was not infidelity or
But that's what I
maybe
said.
abuse or whatever. It's because that person just decides this is who they want to
That's their
be
choice.
with, right? Whether it's on the female side that mess up or on the male side that mess up, you just say like this is where I'm going to be. So that's why I said, I feel like I was lied to.
Yeah, because you don't have nothing good outside. The grass green where you water it. You don't have nothing
Agreed.
good there. Everything, unless it's seaweed you water, no water seaweed. Huh? Water seaweed.
Some grass you have to water, some grass you have to put fertilizer.
Because it's not grass that day, it's seaweed.
Alright, so Karina,
The seaweed looking like
you
grass.
come in there. The topic kind of fell squarely from your shoulders. So you presented a problem. Present with at least one solution.
The problem has it to the main topic.
The main topic, yeah.
When I had the conversation with my
Why
son's dad.
do parents weaponize children?
Yeah, so you're talking about from when I had the conversation with my son's dad?
Yeah.
So we sat down and we had a conversation on how our co-parenting would go. First of all, we spoke on how we're going to split this child finances. I mean, that's a conversation people don't have, but it's a very important conversation. I'm going to take care of this, you're going to take care of that, and this is what we're going to do. We spoke on the event, we need partners because we are no longer together. So obviously, this child is going to be living in separate households, learning separate things. And if I instill something into my son, are you going to instill the same principles? If you instill something into him, am I going to instill the same principles? These were the conversations that we had. Long story short, my son's dad followed none of the conversation that we had. Just in case you think it was picture perfect. And even then I could have been like, you know what? F it. I'm not going to allow this man to have any access to the child again, because after you mess up my dream of being mommy and daddy together, and after you and I, you hurt me or whatever the situation is, I still come to you, sit down and have a conversation, and you're not going to follow any of the things? So, pardon?
So question. What? Let me ask you one question.
But that's
Too
the
many
thing.
Hold
But
on.
that's the
Many
thing.
minutes here.
That's the thing. He and I had a conversation, and that's where y'all can be very misleading. You
Agreed.
sell something.
Agreed.
You sell something.
No, like
I
you
sit
said,
down with
you
you.
are-
I talk to you.
Opposite
I sit
partner.
down and I speak to you. It could be vice versa, because I'm of the perception that women could also be very wicked, but we're not talking about that now.
Not at
We're not talking about that now. We're talking about what you all asked me, right? And so I just felt like, you know what? Again, I have to be the bigger person, emotional intelligence, and I'm going to continue pushing through what me and you initially agreed on for the sake of Kyrie.
Can I ask you one question, please? You said he was very misleading, but did you ask him what did he really want out of that? Or did you have an understanding out of that?
Do you hear me speak? Can you let me? First of all, do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Transparency. Okay.
You don't have to be candid. Just
No,
give
I
me
have
a
to
thing.
tell you. I have to tell you. If I put you to sit, if I'm in a relationship with you, I'm going to put you to sit down and ask.
But how you sending the man? You can't send the man. You put
Send
the
who?
man son, S-O-N, not S-U-N, son. Like you put him to sit down and put him on a timeout and things. So
But why do you feel like it's a timeout?
Because you said you put him to sit.
Yeah, I
because she
can.
wanted to have
I want to have a conversation.
He's a man of the boy.
So you never say, man,
But he could put me to
darling,
sit down.
we need to talk. Boy, let me go and water the grass and water the ocean because I don't want to talk to you about that.
Well, I don't know, I'm not going to question you as
You
a.
had the conversation. He agreed with you, or you.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
What
So-
was he expecting, or was he just telling you
What he
you
wanted to
think
hear.
you wanted to hear?
No, I feel like we both had this conversation. It wasn't I am the one saying, because anytime I'm having a
So
conversation.
that's why I'm asking you. What did you want?
Anytime I'm having a conversation with you, the first question I'm going to ask you, how does this make you feel?
Man, most times when
How
boys
do
go
you
up and they ask him
feel?
what you want to feel,
How does
he's
this make
licksy.
you feel? And
Licks.
what
You crying?
do
Let me give you something to
want
cry about,
to
boy.
do about it? How can I assist you with what you want to do about
Karen,
it?
let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Um,
There are other ladies here, guys. Give me a break.
no. The reason why the question has come to you is
Because you know the one of the child. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
so you said
We're drinking
you had
something
to
right
sit
now.
down to conversation.
Yeah, we had this in our conversation.
Question: Were
Sure.
you both in agreement at that point in time that co-parenting was the option, or was he still trying to pursue?
I think
Okay.
wow, that's deep. Okay. Personally,
No, it's not.
for
No, it's not.
my perception of it, I think that my sense that he would never choose to let go on his own. It would always be the person who chooses to let go.
So you don't want to just let go.
So
then?
Yeah, but
You
what I'm
understand?
asking is, at the time of he agreeing and him seeming like you were in
He felt like he did not have a leg to stand on because of the situation we came out of.
so
And because he didn't have a leg to stand on, when I said that let's do that route, he agreed. He may not have want to do it, but he
so
agreed.
here's the reason why it's never stand out.
Pardon me?
He agreed to you to satisfy you, and still in his mind,
Yeah, but you
He
can't
was
be,
agreeing.
you cannot be selfish of me in that period.
yeah, I understand. But then what I'm trying to say is, in the situation in general, however it may have panned out, you may have had a good intention. You may have had that clarity in mind that, okay, well, if we do this should work, right? But then if you could factor in that now he is not done with you, like you are done with him, and that whatever he may agree to, he did, is not necessarily false, but would be like in his mind only agreed on the premise of, you know what, I don't want to make my situation with you.
But that's a you thing. That's when you become selfish, because you and I would have had the opportunity to fix it before it got to that point.
Now, You know, this, there's a factor in it too that where women have more emotional freedom of expression than men.
That's true.
So men tend to unfortunately fall back on three emotions: pride or ego, happy or angry. And we tend to want to stand to happy or pride and ego, and everything else that we cannot feel is steps to anger because we've not been taught to handle. Whereas you go back to, if your son falls, because I get up, you're all right, don't worry, don't cry. Son and daughter falls, hey baby, you okay? You're all right? I was like, it's okay, cry, I'll rub your face, I'll do this. So you grow up to be hard, you understand? I'm not supposed to feel anything. Deep down inside you, dying. Going back to your situation, his pride or ego might have been, babe, it's not going to work for me. I will not be able to work it this way financially or emotionally. I really want to work this out. Let's try and work this, whatever it is. Whereas a woman would have always expressed what she wanted from the beginning. This is what I want. I grew up in this family. I grew up in a two-parent household, whatever it is.
Not only will they express what they want, they will express what you mean to say. So what I mean by this is, baby, I would like a ham sandwich. No, what you mean is you want eggs and lettuce on that. No, I would like a ham sandwich.
I got
No. Yes, sir.
for Kirill, right?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Okay. I feel like we have to peel back the onion and figure out exactly what we're gonna get out of it. Why did you two really separate? Were you in agreement to separate or you forced them to separate? And then you gotta ask your question, so the question, well, is he just agreeing just to appease you and just get over with? Or is he agreeing because you think that's the right thing to do? Because it sounds, let me stop.
It sounds like that's his only option.
It sounds like you gave him an option, but you told him well, this was the only way out. He went with it, and then when he realized that it was
I resent you.
bad, he might have said to hell with it. Why am I caring to this girl? When she
No, I get that, but I mean, we're working based on the raw, the limited information that I have provided, obviously,
Yeah.
because
Yeah, we're
I'm not going into
looking for that
detail.
keyhole, yeah.
Exactly.
And I would agree with you. I would agree with you on that.
So I cannot feel any way based on what you're saying because you're going off what I've given you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But let's just say this was not all the factors. It wasn't all the factors, and I have a question just to see if it can help.
Okay.
Have you ever been with somebody
Have
who,
you ever been?
you know,
somebody?
you may have done things to that individual,
Like cheating that person?
well, just anything in general
Hit 'em
that
over the head.
did not work out, right?
Put them in the
And
trunk.
that person stayed and communicated how the situation makes them feel, ask you what was the problem or how could it be fixed or whatever, so that you as the woman feels as if they've exhausted all options and you just did not get it.
Well, I was the reverse angle of that.
Yeah, but hold on.
Yes.
Hold on.
Okay.
And then, so now, when this woman puts the plate down and says,
Would you like
well,
to take my chair, sir?
because you've not, understood, you've said that you love me, but you haven't understood that what you're doing is constantly hurting me, and I am losing myself, I am ready to leave. Would you accept if that woman goes, or would you be like, I don't have a leg to stand on and I'll just allow her to go?
I'm gonna tell you, I'm a different breed of a person, man. I'm not.
No, but I just want you to answer that.
I'm gonna answer that question, and before I answer that question, I have to give you a disclaimer. I'm
Okay.
a different breed of man. I'm not an average Joe. If a woman wants to leave, she can leave. I'm not gonna sit there and take
That's what I would say too. That's what I would say.
The question you asked me, I was actually in a situation like that where the woman kept on doing things to me, and I kept telling her like, "Yo, stop." But yes, they say when a woman's fed up, she's gonna leave. That is true. So what happens when a man is fed up? The question we have to ask ourselves nowadays: is the woman doing something to keep that man doing what he's doing? And
Is a woman doing what?
To keep that man doing what he's doing.
What do you mean by
It's
that?
a
Are you giving him the
It's a
space to
two-way
operate?
It's a
Yeah.
two-way street, because men have 5 appetites. Are you able to feed all 5 of those appetites?
What are these 5 appetites you're
You know
talking
what I learned? You have to come into a relationship ready.
Yes.
You have to come into a relationship knowing that you love yourself, and I have to come into a relationship knowing that I love myself.
Now, stick a bit.
That don't stick no pin.
But
We're not doing no pin.
That's how we end up with children.
Because I love myself. That's how it ended up going down the shower.
You have to know you're ready. He has to know you're ready. But why can't we come in at a certain point and cultivate each other? Why can't I
Exactly.
you
But who says that can't happen?
But that's not what happened because you have an IJ in your head that you have blinders on.
No,
hate
I
to
don't
say this.
agree.
I hate to say this, men are wide open to anything. And when they really like you, you can really make a man do something. and
That's a
change.
fact. That you said is a
But
fact.
when a woman really likes him nowadays, the way things with it, men don't want to submit to that man.
That's
Boy,
not
can't
true.
like you relive it up every day.
That's not true. I think right
Relive it
now,
up every day.
right now, we are living in an era where women I don't want to say begging, but they want to go back to that place of submission. And the men right now are
that's
too
right.
busy living in princess treatment that they're not allowing us.
I want to
Really?
Hold on.
Stomach.
I would love to hear the other 2 ladies' perspective on this. I would love to hear the other 2 ladies. Hold on, Kay, hold on. I want to hear these other 2 ladies' perspective on that because they have strong objections.
Okay, all right, let's go. Tell me.
Honestly, like I have to agree with you to a certain extent on that point. A lot of men right now are not rising to the occasion. Let's just be real about that.
What is the occasion?
What do you mean, what is the occasion? You want us to submit to what? You're not being the person that you need to be for us to submit
Other
to.
women are being men.
But why?
Because we don't, but why? Because they're
the
not being men.
Yeah, the
So
point
that's
there.
how we do it.
Also, I don't know how to be a man. That's what it is.
No.
We don't want
We
to be
just-
men. We don't want to have the men role. We don't want it.
Can I
We
check
be-
it?
she literally said
No,
we are
wait,
begging.
just let the ladies
She
speak.
literally said we are begging for men to be on the right path so that we can submit to them. Not all men are on that level for submission. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right.
There's not many of them out there. You might be him, you might be him, you might be him, but there's so many other men who are just not.
I am that dude.
Let's just be real here.
They always say they are
Exactly.
him, and they don't. They're
Thank you
not.
very much.
They're not.
They're not leading.
So I feel like I am in the middle.
Jump in.
I'm in the middle here. Oh, join the conversation.
Welcome.
Just a disclaimer: the ratio of men in this room is high. Okay,
it's not.
It is
No, it's
high. This is very
No, it's
offset
not.
right now. So we are under fire here.
Hold on.
I might be more on the fire. Okay, let me finish my point.
Let's say what someone else is saying.
So I said I feel like I'm in the middle because I agree to an extent that the quality of men, some of them, are not up to a standard where we as women feel like we can be vulnerable in that way and submit. But I agree that there are some women who don't allow men to be a man.
Agreed.
And that kind of demasculating feeling, a man is not going to deal with that for long.
Agreed.
So I agree that yes, the man could, raise the bar a little bit, but women have to be
More accepting.
More acceptable.
that, but just open to letting a man be a man, letting him be.
But why is
emotional,
that? Because for a long period, they felt like maybe they've had to.
Quickly, before you continue, the point we made there a while ago, you know what it is from a man's perspective? I'm a woman, I want you to lead.
You are?
But no, I'm just saying from the woman.
You said from a man perspective, you are a woman.
But I want you to lead, but you need to lead me this way and in a particular way.
So they want to do their own thing.
No, they want you to lead them in the direction that they want you to lead them in.
So they want to do their own thing.
Right.
That's what you're saying.
But that's not real
They don't,
submission.
no, hold on. But
Exactly.
they don't have the conversation as these are my dreams. What are your dreams?
Ah.
2, it goes where the women who take control, it's like, all right, I want you to be the man, but I want you to be the man that I
I
want.
want, yeah, the man in my head.
You understand?
Yeah.
You need to be the man that I want so I can be comfortable, not understanding that maybe he is the man that you need.
Yep.
But it
You know?
also goes back
So-
to the question of, well, the topic or point of communication. If you don't talk about these things, how do you know if you're even on the same page?
Because a lot of us speak and we don't want to listen to anybody
But
else.
that's the thing. Is it really communication?
You want to tell the
Because
person
proper
what-
communication is listening
listening
to
here.
understand, not listening to respond. And that's what a lot of us do. We listen to
All right, let
respond.
me hear from this young
Take
man
it
there.
back a little bit because of what you said earlier.
You coming to me now.
I'm not coming for you. Like I said, I'm a different breed. I done lived through some things, right?
Okay.
True story. I'm retired military.
Okay.
And the first 10 years of my marriage, I was constantly gone, doing things all over the world. And my wife had no option but to become the man of the house. No fault of hers. You know, my wife is a woman's woman.
But that's what she signed up for.
That's what she signed up for. When I retired and I came back home, and I tried to get back
Some of that.
the man, she wouldn't let it. She wouldn't give it up because it was either her way or the highway. I got to the point that I said, look, if you want me around, let me do what I do. If you don't want me around, continue doing what you're doing. Now that's the thing about certain women, because women have been groomed since before our generations, 2 generations ago in the 70s. Our grandparents have been groomed for the woman to be the head of the household, because when there was a strong black man, a strong black woman in the same house, that house was a very strong, powerful house. And somebody, I'm not going to say who exactly, because I don't know who exactly, somebody saw that and pulled the man out the house and gave these women all these subsidies and everything. Now that might have happened in America, but it happened in St. Lucia and other countries too.
Okay.
It filtered down. And that when they pull the man out the house, that you're like, that's okay though.
What?
when they pull the man out of the house, it made women become men, unfortunately.
Yes.
And that trickled down to where women are raising sassy men.
Agree.
Hold up.
Because the mother, no, he's right. Because the
He's
mothers
right.
are raising the sons to
Yeah.
the man that they
Because-
think men
What
should
was
be.
that? Hold on.
I'm
Because if
talking
you
the
look at-
tea.
If you look at social media, they have the mother saying, I raised all my kids, and it's like 4 girls.
And the next thing you know, you see them and they do it. The man busted out wine.
You know? Now, if we want to co-parent, I think co-parent should be like you have him for the first 10 years of his life.
Right.
And from, let's say, 11 to 18, the father should have that work. That's when that boy.
Boy, the first thing
I disagree with that.
It could.
Nah.
All
It
years.
could go different.
All years.
I disagree. The first 7 years of a child's life is important, most important part.
True.
And Kevin, I like to put a little hole in your finger. Was the man ever really in the house? To me, personally, the man will go out to work and the woman would run the house.
But you see, that's the thing, though. We don't understand the roles of a relationship. Relationship does have a role. And then when a man says stay in your lane, a woman says stay in your lane, we get offensive to each other. No. If you my woman,
Because
I can tell you stay in your lane, you should be able to tell me
In
stay
the,
in
in
my
the
lane.
last podcast, we discussed that where a man brought the money, he bought the house, she made it into a home.
Exactly.
They had a
Yeah, that was the
family.
first
They had
one,
kids, she made it into a family. You understand? He bought food, she made dinner.
Yes.
As much as the men were considered the head of the household, the whole pay pocket went to the woman.
But y'all
Yeah.
still ask us, what do y'all bring to the table?
Now,
Men ask women that?
now,
Y'all still ask, what do we bring to the table?
now, but we had this.
But women are like that too.
Women are not men, man.
We turn water into wine.
You all supposed to multiply things. So you're going to multiply my problems or multiply my solutions.
Okay?
So check this out.
That's what we bring.
I'm gonna tell
to
you
your
why.
problem.
I'm gonna tell
And
you
we
why.
support you and give you emotional love.
Let me tell you hold on.
Okay, that's what we're built for. That's
Okay.
it.
Stress is only
Miss Kay,
coming on.
I'm gonna tell you exactly why that question is a
That's
question. what you bring to the table. That's a bad question. You can't ask
that's
that
a bad
question.
question.
But they
Because
do.
if me and you are building
cannot-
something, there's no table.
So why is it
we
being
have to
are
build
asked?
together. Exactly.
So
Why are we asked this? Why do men in this
Because
generation
those are
ask
not
that question?
men.
We are straight from the
Exactly.
topic.
So you're
Then
trying to say
I agree
we
with
have
you
a lot
on
of
the point that
we
you
gonna fight,
Yeah,
we gonna fight.
are you trying to say we have a lot of money pools? Is that what you're saying? There's a lot of money pools in St. Lucia? That's what you're saying?
Like they have wombs or whatever, shims too.
Well, that's
It
different.
goes both ways.
That is different.
Now hold on. To bring us back on point, we started on the weaponizing of children against the parents who are outside. Everything that we have discussed has been reasons and scenarios and all sorts of things as to what causes these things from happening, from the root cause to side swipes, whatever it is. But I think everyone now can give a solution or suggestion from your opinion, your experience as to what can prevent or change the cycle of the kids being the bullets in the gun to break down the parents.
And that's how we wind down the topic.
You understand? I was stuck, and I
Just come down.
sometimes have a utopian ideology.
Wait. First question: do you have kids?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I'm a 21-year-old.
No, I know. We don't do the
I'm a
details.
grown man.
We don't need to do the details. Just know if you have kids. Yeah.
You see, honesty. A lot of people are afraid of honesty because they're afraid to show their face, the true self. But if in the beginning of the relationship you're honest in the things that matter, because you all put on that face, like I said, when you first get to know each other, you're trying to attract that person to do whatever you have to do. When you move on and you have a proper conversation, babe, I'm pregnant. Fuck. All right, what are we going to do?
That's what happened already.
As a man, babe, I don't think I'm ready for a kid.
Why you was whining back?
And she would be like, neither was I, but I was whining, we were sweating, we was groaning, it happened, right? So let's move on and see how we can make this out. Like, babe, I don't really think I'm ready for this kid or whatever.
That's a post-nut clarity.
You understand? But we need to work it out. Or you get pregnant and it's like, babe, listen, I'm tired. And the man may be working 18 hours. She not sleeping because the baby is crying.
Up all night crying. Yeah.
Right? But at the same
For the
time,
half an
he
hour
working
cycle.
18 hours. He only has 4 or 5 hours. And she might be like, oh, you need to come home from your 18 hours and put in your part. Not
Second job.
check in that maybe not every day or every other day he can go through that stress because lack of sleep, he's driving, whatever. There's so many scenarios. But I think a proper,
wrap it
honest
up.
conversation, as in we listen and we don't judge between parents and partners, can cure a lot of this nonsense that's going on.
Okay.
That's my take.
All right.
I think that effective communication, I said it earlier and I'm going to say it again, is very important for this entire topic. And I'm going to.
Now you tell me what your child father want to do.
Pardon me?
Up to now you tell me what your
Says that.
the son's dad want. Sorry, I was
What
going
he
to correct
wants?
myself. Yeah, what did he want out of the negotiation?
What do you mean what he wanted?
Out of the conversation, what did he want? What did he say?
You put what you wanted out.
But you never told us what he wanted.
But what did he want?
But it was, I mean, obviously I'm just speaking because I don't want to put the light on him.
Right.
But we both had a conversation.
But
He said
he contributed his bit to it.
he contributed and I contributed.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
It really boils down to communication, effective communication, people listening to understand and not listening to respond. I also think that a lot of people, especially Caribbean people, tend to shy away from seeking help when they really need it, like mental health, like get a counselor, talk to somebody about the different traumas you've been through, things that you want to try and change the outcome of what happened previously, so you don't repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again. I really think that a lot of people don't think that they need help, or they don't see that they're going through the same pattern over and over again until it is detrimental to them. or until it causes them serious issues, whether it be
Life-changing circumstances. All right.
So that's about my
Yeah, she definitely touched on the points I was going to make. While communication is really important, especially that kind of active listening between two people, really taking the time to understand yourself and seeking help from a male's perspective, a female's perspective. So to kind of dive into what the trauma is, what's how does it affect me and the relationships that I'm in moving forward. So I think that's really important, especially where children are concerned.
Jason?
Okay, I would like to say, I forgot what I was going to say. Okay, here's my point. I would like to say, first of all, the thing you might call trauma, somebody else might call, that's just how it is in my community. They leave rubbish on the side of the road. The mother needs to beat their father needs to beat their mother. And it goes both ways, men and women. Back in the days, trauma, you used to deal with your trauma by singing. And some people literally have, the blues, all those things. I watched that movie the other day and the man described a very traumatic situation. And he just break out in song and dance because that's his way of dealing with it. And he used to drink. And I recognize, this problem? He recognized anytime something good happened to somebody, something bad will happen after. So he'll be afraid of anything good happening to him. A child is something good. A child is a goal that every human being should aspire to. And it will make you question yourself when the child asks you, why should I not do that? Daddy's smoking. I see bad boy smoking and the child, why are you doing that? You're not listening to me. Mother's the same way. It could go both ways. The man and the woman be a little more honest with themselves. I don't believe in self-love. I believe in just understanding yourself. Because you shouldn't have no relationship with yourself. You should understand, point the camera outwards. Don't point the camera at yourself. Oh, I love myself. And you post it on Instagram and that kind of. Well, look outside, see what's going on, and understand that the world you see might not be exactly how it is. And somebody else might think something different, and you have to come and find somewhere in the middle between you and the person. And that's called a child.
Okay, so the question was, how do we stop weaponizing children against parents, right?
Or how do we stop that from happening?
Stop that from happening. You guys said communication, but it's not just communication, it's understanding grace. Sorry. Because we can communicate all day. I can hear you, you can hear me. But then you understand what I'm saying to you.
Well, that's why I said
That's effective communication.
Effective communication, yes. When we're talking back and forth, I'm looking at you, yes.
But that's not effective. Effective to me means that you are listening to understand and not listening to respond.
But-
you understand what I'm saying, and then you're going to respond based on that understanding. And by your response, I'm supposed to understand whether or not you understood what I was trying to say. And then you will then understand what I am trying to say.
Yeah.
So I think that is effective communication. Anything outside of that is not effective.
I remember what I wanted to say now.
Yeah.
Like that, Mary? When you communicate and I understand, that means me understanding means that I supposed to agree.
No, that does not mean that. That does not mean that.
It just means
That's far from what I'm saying.
understand what
You understand what
I
I
said.
said.
I can now rebut.
Exactly.
Yes.
I get what
What
you're
you're
trying to tell me. I can
but-
agree.
But
I can
this is
disagree.
This is
where
what
I
I
am,
feel.
and then I will respond based on
They just take it.
what I heard from you.
Exactly.
Just take it away.
Go ahead, go
Sorry,
ahead, go
continue.
ahead, go ahead.
So
And I-
effective,
and I just
so
remember-
besides effective
Go ahead.
communication, what else?
And I just remember what I actually wanted to say.
Right.
For example,
You were right.
effective communication is a law being made. We can't get away from it unless we can't agree to it unless we both feel screwed. Because you're gonna want what you want, I'm gonna want what I. We're not gonna get it. And the only way to get in the middle is if we both feel like we're not getting what we want, but we have an understanding. You do this and I do that, we'll be good.
Agree to disagree.
Exactly.
I just remember
That
what I
works
wanted to say.
So before we close up, do you remember? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just remember what I wanted to say. Remember a conversation I was having? Boy, I was talking to this young lady, to another young lady, and I was saying, I think this girl like me, but she's not taking training. She was like, what? You think women have to be trained? I said, wait, hold on. You have a bad understanding of training. Whenever you interact with somebody, You're training the person on how to treat you, and you're training the person on how they want to be treated. So the middle ground, what you call understanding, is when we understand
Compromise.
or when you have a different perspective from your original idea. And I say, boy, I thought that was blue. She say, I thought that was red. And then we end up on purple. Purple is the answer. Purple is the law. Purple is the child. Purple is how you do not weaponize. Weaponization of the child is for me to say red in the start, and I don't trust what you're saying, and I stick to my red, and she stick to her blue. And we don't understand. We know that when we say, yeah. And we go back to what we normally do. And then you walk in the tongue, smacking the child behind the head, saying,
I just
the
want to
parent is
say,
up.
like, with the whole topic, it's important to also let go. Not because that individual was not the partner that you would have wanted or things happened during the relationship. That doesn't mean that that person will not be a good parent to your child. So you have to allow people to do what they have to do for, because the child is what is important. The child is the factor that put the main focus and what has both persons connected. And I think that it's important to put our feelings aside and solely focus on said child and let go of whatever you may have experienced with that person.
All right, so Carol,
Forgiveness
I
is
want you to
important.
close. So before you close, the voice in production will say this, and this might lead into our next episode, right? That the concept of child in the middle between man and woman, I do not agree with it.
Okay.
All right? So let's
So,
take it from
Thank you for joining us this evening, Grown Folks Talk Only. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. We've had many views on many sides of the scenario. Please leave your comments on the streams and let us know what you think.
A cockman ever hold you before?
A cockman has hold me many times.
I'm not of that. So a cockman ever hold you? Oh, a cockman hold me a couple times already. Yeah, man, that hold me, that took me. I can't even breathe. You to shift, you can't shift, you can't do nothing. Yeah? That is holding you there. So it is that you dying. So it's choking you while it's having sex with you? Yeah, while it's trying to sex you, it's choking you like you can't breathe now. You go try and do something, try and call somebody by you. You go try and hit them out while that's happening at all. The cockman that hold you there. Just take your hold in your ass.
I just sleep there.
Oh boy, I have to turn on the bed, I have to shift forward before I get natural in a cockman because that's really hard. The first time I see that thing. Alright. They can't leave me.
When you're sleeping, something holds you at night and you cannot talk. That's the only thing I know about Kokma. I even saw a demon.
Let me ask you that. How you get yourself free from the cockman?
Me?
Yeah.
Let's chant a little psalms, you know? Just bust a little psalms and you're letting you go.
Interventionally, it's not of me. But I have been through that already. So like you say, interventionally, since the cockman hold you so many times, but you're not of it. I'm not of it. Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah.
The voice of the people all around St. Lucia. Drama Blitz.
Yo, people, it's your boy Flex, and today we're here with a new episode of Drama Blitz. You heard the thing, listen, Drama Blitz, the thing hot. Funny questions on the streets, we're going everywhere, Castro is there and review for everywhere you could think about. Yeah, you can get this on DaMajority on Facebook and Instagram, and on my Instagram also, FlexWill100 and Facebook. You see, I tell you the thing, man, the thing funny. Look out for it, share it, let us know whatever you think about it. But the question is, for the first episode, what is a cockman? So if you know it's a cockman, drop it down in the comments. Let us know what you think of the cockman. Share it, tell a friend, like it, you know what to do. Big up yourself.
A cockman? That's the thing that holding you in your sleep, you know. That when you go and sleep, like a gashi, that comes and choke you in your bed, you know, that comes and sex you and them kind of thing. That is a cockman. You know? Right. You can shift nothing. That hold you.
Let's say, a cockman is something when you say hold you. You could be screaming, shouting, and that man could be right down there, and nobody hearing you.
A woman make a child and the child die, and she kill the child and the child come back and they try and choke your ass for you night time. Right. That's a cockman.
What is a cockman?
Cockman is a machinery.
A machinery?
Yeah. Cockman is a thing, well, yeah, scientific, and yeah, you have to Machine way, yeah.
Something that holding you on the bed.
Only on the bed. I have no idea.
Kokma is like somebody that is all magic, like magic.
Old magic.
Yeah.
A kokma?
Yeah.
What is a kokma?
Yeah.
A kokma. What's a kokma?
A cockman is no cockma. A cockma? Yeah. A machine way. A machine.
Or that's somebody that catches you in your sleep.
A spirit that holds you in your sleep. And you try to fight it off with the hand.
What is the word? A cockma. They call it cockma. Cockma.
But when you sleep in cockma holding you cannot achieve. Sometimes you feel in your body you want to shout, you cannot shout. That's what the cockma.
No, kokma is something that has been in a pond, a water pond.
A water pond.
Yeah, a fowl in a water pond. So a ma, the pattern name for pond is ma.
Right.
Okay, and then the cock is rooster. So rooster is in a pond. Okay. Yeah, that's a cockma.
A cock in a pond.
Yeah, a cock in a pond.
Okay, that makes sense. What is a cockma?
Sleep paralysis.
Kokma.
Yeah, what's a cockma?
That's not Kokma. Say when we want something, you guys.
In the middle of the night.
Yeah, man, I don't know.
A guy you want to hold you at night and you cannot breathe, I guess.
I don't know the fuck. I don't know what the cockma.
Kokma is an evil spirit that attacks people at night, stabilizing them. They cannot move, they cannot breathe, they cannot speak, and they are just stabilized.
I don't know.
I'm starting to see, oh, magic cat, that's a cockma.
So that's how a cockma look. That's how a cockma look over there. All right, cockma. that makes sense.
It's a cockma, not a cockma. Cockma flies at night. Cockma flies at day.
Something that hold it in the night when you're sleeping. What is a cockma?
Yeah.
A cockma? That don't exist.
Excuse me?
A cockma.
A what?
A cockma.
A kokma?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, when people long ago used to say a kokma is something that holding you in the night, that's what I think.
I just see a cockma is what lady must be a child must be, that's what they call a cockma.
Yeah, Kokma is a yard man.
A yard. Yeah. A yard man.
I hate it him very much. It never happened.
From my understanding, is when some spiritual, evil, witchcraft, whatever it is, kind of hold you in your sleep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's something that holds you in the night, so evil spirit, maybe.
A kokma is something that come after you, a little child.
A little child.
Yeah, that twisting neck, and you turn to whatever it turns to, and it come after you and have your life in your sleep.
Imagine hold you before post time.
The voice of the people all around St. Lucia. Drama Blitz.
Let me ask you, in St. Lucia, who do you think cheat more, men or women?
Women.
Men.
Yeah, I would say both. I will be biased.
I think it's equal. Yeah, is that a fair statement?
Statistically, women cheat more because you can't really catch them.
Can't catch it.
Men stupid with their talk, women don't talk.
Men or women?
But I believe women,
Men.
Men. From your experience, why would you say men cheat more?
All men are dogs.
Okay. In St. Lucia, which community would you say men cheat more?
The ones from Corinth.
Grizzly and Moshi.
Well, in Castries, and those are living by ducks. By ducks.
New York, you have New York, England.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, there you have it. In New York, women cheat more in St. Lucia. Yeah.
Is woman that cheating, man?
I won't lie, but when you listen to other females, you actually figure out it's females. But from my experience,